Welcome, everyone, to our 3-day Creative Cards Kickstart. We are over the
Good
next 3
morning.
days going to be doing 3 totally different ways of becoming more creative. So you might be here because you're brand new to card making, you want to see what it's all about, or maybe you're in a rut, your cards just feeling like they're kind of all the same, or you've just gotten away from it, you want to be inspired again. Maybe you're looking to up level your cards. I just think it's love for any reason that you're here. We are so thrilled to have you here. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you join the conversation because the conversation is where it's at, and we will come back and keep watching things. But first, who are we? We better figure that out. I'm Karen Titus from Stamping on the Back Porch, and I've been teaching card making since 1996.
Oh, sorry about that. I had your live on my other screen.
We're trying to manage all this. This is our first time doing this, so bear with us. We love to try new things, I guess.
Yeah, so if you see me looking over to the side, it's because I'm reading you guys' comments. So welcome to everybody who's coming in. I'm Holly with Handcrafted Blessings.
So I met Holly. I like to tell our story. Her parents were good friends of ours. So we didn't know Holly until she was an adult. And when I was doing the card making, and she got into card making, and her mom said, "Oh, I want you to meet Karen." Holly was living in Illinois. Her parents lived in northern Minnesota. We all met at our house when Holly was coming through. And then Holly became my virtual assistant. And so we've been doing that, for 7 years? We decided it's been?
Yeah, 7 years.
And now we're really partnering on some things. And I just think it is so fun. It is so fun for me to have someone close to work with and to expand on these ideas. I'm a great idea person, but you guys, I'm old and I don't know all this tech. You're going to see these gorgeous slides and all that kind of stuff today. That's all Holly. I just love that we can bring our own gifts and talents and kind of do this together. And, it's about the conversation and the people. So we together love what we are doing. And we're just so grateful to have Holly in our lives.
Well, I think one of the questions we want to hear you guys answer, and I'm actually going to have Karen answer it before I do, is how did you get started in card making? So if you guys tell us in the comments, what got you started in card making? And so Karen, how about if you share first, what got you started?
So back in 1996, I was homeschooling. We have 5 kids. And I had a group of teenage girls, the junior high girls, one afternoon a month, the last Friday afternoon of the month, to do something creative. And somebody said, "Oh, you should try stamping." I'd never heard of it, but they gave me the name of someone. So we actually had a party in my home because I thought, oh, that would be fun for the girls to do. 2 days before that, Tim lost his job and I was homeschooling. And I looked at this and thought, I just decided I'm going to give this a try. I asked my friends, "Do you care if I try?" So I started teaching classes having never stamped. And look where we are now. It's just been the joy, the friendships, what I've learned. And I love that I've been doing this since 1996. There's something new for me to learn every day. Yeah. So that's my story.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was 2016. So I'm about 8 years old in card making. But 10 years before that, I had made some scrapbooks. So I had all these supplies, but I just wasn't scrapbooking. It was before the age of smartphones. I didn't have a camera, so I didn't have pictures to scrapbook. So I kind of stopped for 10 years. And then in 2016, I needed a new hobby. And somebody had sent me some cards during my cancer journey. And I didn't even know that people made cards. Even back when I was scrapbooking, I'd never seen a handmade card before. So when I saw these friends send me handmade cards, I was like, wait, I could try that. Maybe that's my new thing. And so in that summer, I pulled out some of those old scrapbooking supplies and I started making cards. And you guys, I was hooked. And we're going to talk in just a second about why we might want to get more creative. But let me tell you, that was the thing that sucked me in, was making my first card and seeing how easy it could be, how quick and easy you could make it, but then also how you could get more involved and make it, more steps and more complicated. And there's just so many levels to card making. And it's been an incredible journey over the last 8 years. And I should say, actually, both Karen and I should say, Karen lives in Minnesota and I live in central Iowa. So I'm about 3.5 hours south of Minneapolis. So we see you guys telling us where you're from. I saw somebody
Yes.
in here from Germany. So we've got people from all over the world here today. So be sure to look at the comments and maybe you'll find a new stamping friend in your area.
And do share your stories. It is the stories that connect us together. And often you'll see in someone else's story something that just speaks to your heart or is also your story and a thing that you hadn't been thinking about. So we just appreciate this opportunity for us to all be together. So before we do our project for the day, wanted to think about a general question, started thinking, so why do we want to be creative anyway? We all know we love being creative and we love, making cards or doing whatever, but did you know that there are really bigger reasons in life to be creative? There are just other awesome reasons that is just good for us. And so we thought, let's cover 3 of those reasons first before we get started.
Do you want to put the slides up, Karen?
Oh, yes.
So let's see here. I'm going to click through to where we are. I'm going to catch us up here, but we really do believe this is going to be an adventure the next 3 days. So Karen said, why would we want to be more creative? And what we want is for you to think through what are some reasons why you want to be creative. So I already mentioned one that applied to me. When I started card making and learning more about being creative with paper, ink, and stamps, I found so much stress relief in card making. It was such a great way to just relax and unwind. I had a stressful job at the time. And so card making and being creative really helped me to just kind of relax, focus on doing something fun, which meant that it brought more enjoyment to my life. It helped me to kind of stay present in the moment because I had to focus on not cutting my finger with those scissors. So I couldn't be distracted by all the things that were happening, around me. I just had to focus on the card making. And so it really, as it says here, it really helped with well-being and happiness.
I like to think of it as I always talk about, like, if you remember being 5, at least this was for me, and you get a new box of crayons, never opened, and you just have time and space to play. And I think to just get into the zone. And I just think of how healing that is for us and just how fun that is. And I just think when I think of well-being and happiness, I also think about how awesome that this very same thing that we can relax into and kind of brings us this calm in life also brings excitement into our life. It's like this dual thing. And I think because it just makes life interesting and fun to look forward to, and it's the same thing. So
when you look out the door and see Mr. Brown coming down the street, we get excited. Yes. It's like being a kid at Christmas time. Yes. So what else, Karen? Why else would we want to be more creative?
I wanted to talk about how creativity connects and inspires us. Connecting, we know that, when we send a card to somebody and let them know we're thinking of them, most of us know what it's like to be on the receiving end. It is so touching. It is like this little difference we can make in our corner of the world. But it also connects us with others. When we craft together, there's something about conversations. Do you ever realize how easy it is if you're sitting crafting, conversations get meaningful right away? You're kind of working on things. It's a way of building friendships, community builds there. And we've also discovered that works online and in person. They're both wonderful. And then when I think about inspiring, I just think it's cool to think about whatever you're doing can inspire other people. And I think we all inspire each other. That's a part of being together. I think I love saying, we're more creative together than we are separately because we do inspire and encourage each other. But I also wanted to mention, there's also a thing about leaving a lasting legacy. And I wanted to think of a couple of things. My middle name is Ruth. I was named after an aunt who died at age 19, so I never met her. She was a scrapbooker. I have her 2 scrapbooks. So this was way, way back. And I feel like I know her from her scrapbooks. And they have always been a great source of inspiration for me. I've actually passed them down to my son who asked them because he loves things like that. And I think this is someone that we didn't even know. The other thing, when we share about who inspired us and got us started card making, it's often a grandma, an aunt, a sister, whatever. we get the chance to be that person that also shares and inspires other. And I just think what a gift that is. So I just think all those reasons together just make this really an awesome thing.
Yeah, I think the connections, it really stood out to me. One of the things I actually learned about my family is I have a family member who created the very first Christmas cards in San Francisco. And so as I think about the connections and the impact of even just my family in card making over the last 175 years, that all of those cards that have been sent out to bring somebody joy during the holidays, the cards that you hear, somebody passes away and you hear about the card that they held on to because the words in that card really meant something to them because they so appreciated hearing from somebody. I think we don't always realize the power of our words, and those words that we write, that we stamp in cards, can make such an impact on other people. So, and I suppose with part of that also, when we're doing that, when we're connecting and inspiring other people, we're also growing and discovering things about ourselves and about the world around us. So think about when you are making a card and you create something, maybe something new, maybe a new fold that you've learned. Later this week, we're going to teach you a fold that you can do. And you might find yourself feeling more confident about fun folds because you've been able to create this card. I think being crafty and using your creative gifts, it also helps us to learn new things. We learn new techniques and we learn new things about each other. I mean, look at the comments right now. They are going crazy with your stories about how you have become a card maker and what it's meant to you. And so even right now, we're discovering more about this community that we're in for the next 3 days. And also, I think one that's really fun is you might discover a hidden talent. I sure never knew that I could make a card. I had no clue that might be something that was inside of me. But through card making and a community like this, we can discover hidden talents. Maybe your talent is fun folds. Maybe it's heat embossing. Maybe it's fussy cutting. And if fussy cutting is your hidden talent, I need to hire you. It's not my thing.
Then you're on my
Yeah.
All fussy cutters. But it's also when you look back at like the first card you made, how fun to see your journey. And that's why this is for everyone. Mm-hmm. You don't want to compare yourself to others. You're comparing yourself to you. You're watching. It's like an experience, a journey. You're not even comparing. You're watching yourself grow and connect and discover. And I mean, who wouldn't want that? I look at all that and think, yeah, I want all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose the question we need to ask everybody who's here, why do you want to be more creative? So
we're going to pause and let you think about that a minute.
Yeah.
And write it down if you have a Post-it note or a piece of paper. Because we're going to collect those. We're going to have you put them in the comments too, because we're going to collect a whole ton of ideas. We want you to think about yours and we'll share ours. And I didn't even write mine until this morning because I thought, I don't want to prepare ahead. I want to just experience this too.
Yeah, so grab a Post-it note, grab a scrap piece of paper. Think about some of the reasons that we just shared about why you might want to become more creative. It could be something we shared. It could be totally something else as well. Mm-hmm. And then just write maybe a couple of words, maybe a sentence of why do you want to be more creative? I feel like you can't go wrong with Post-it notes and a Sharpie, you guys. While people are writing, I am going to share a couple that I see in the comments. Mm-hmm. Kathy says, creativity helps me reduce stress from being a caregiver. Brenda said she likes learning.
Can I just say that is a big one. I just know so many people are caregivers, and to have that little bit of thing you can do for yourself, and a shout out to all of you who are caregivers. That
most definitely. Kathy says she wants to inspire others. Sandy wants to share more smiles and make someone's day better. Hannah says it makes her calm. It relaxes her when she's stressed. Let's see. Jean says the joy that cards sent to others make them feel. Yeah, how we can make other people feel, but also how we feel as a result of what we've done for others. Let's see here. Maureen wants to learn more creative ideas to challenge herself. And Lori wants to keep her brain working. Yeah, this totally keeps us more engaged. For sure. Luann says she has a huge stash that needs to be used. That's a good reason to be more creative. So, oh my goodness, the comments are just, there's so much in here. To grow and express my love of others from Lori. Jackie says to be more creative and send happy mail. There's so many. So I wrote to encourage others and to recharge. That's kind of why I like to be creative and make cards. So what about you, Karen? What's your reason?
I'm just going to be a little sassy here. I wrote,
sassy.
keeps me young. I don't know what old age is. It's always like 10 or 15 years ahead of wherever I am. I'm sure it's going to stay that way, but I want to be that old lady who is interesting because I'm still doing all this and interested in others and in still having an influence around the people around me, letting them know I care. I can't do anything about the marching of time passing, but I can certainly make an impact on how I approach life, how I love this. And I just love this is a lifelong thing that we're doing. It doesn't matter if you are 8 and you're welcomed into this world, or if you are 95 and still have the ability. I will be dreaming about this even when I can no longer create. And that is okay too. It is it's just the richness this brings and the encouragement that I can give others for doing this. So anyway, I just think it's exciting. So.
Absolutely. Well, and similarly, I see somebody says, Zandy says to recharge for better health, so using this as a way to relax and recharge ourselves for sure.
Yes.
Somebody like Jackie said, great one, Karen, on age. Oh, I like Shelly. Shelly says we need the outlet to keep sane.
Yes.
That's kind of true, isn't it?
We do. We do.
Oh, you guys, we hope you'll continue to share your whys of why you want to be creative. And so throughout these 3 days, we're going to be issuing a few challenges to you. Now, these challenges are not just, it's not just busy work. They're actually prize winning challenges. So when you participate in the challenges, I think we've got 5. I want to say throughout these days, we will be picking winners from people who participate. And then we will be sending you some happy mail, real live happy mail in your mailbox.
And we don't care where you live. It's all fine.
We don't care where you live.
Community,
so. I saw someone in Germany. We would send a card to Germany. So prizes are coming all over the place. So your first challenge is to share your why on your social media. So I say on your social media because you can share it in all sorts of places, but share it with the hashtag Creative Cards Kickstart and let people know why you want to be creative or why you love being creative. And share it with that hashtag so that we will be able to see it. So for those of you who might not be familiar with the hashtag, it's simply that pound sign in front of that long string of words. So that's what we call a hashtag. And if you do hashtag Creative Cards Kickstart, and then share a picture of your Post-it note or share a picture of you, share a picture of the piece of paper you wrote on, and let people know why you love being creative. So that's the first challenge we're going to issue this Kickstart.
Okay, are we ready to create? Okay, we are. And it is not too late to invite friends in too. So this is all good. So, okay, we are going back. I'm really excited to share this day. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while, and I thought this would be perfect to do for this because we're going to go back in time for a while before the internet had everything. Now you look on the internet and it can be just overwhelming. You don't know where to start. And there are a million card sketches, and I love card sketches. I love all this stuff. But before that time, I wanted to tell you the first way that I learned to really take a card and make it over. And this is a huge shout out to Linda Heller, who is on our Fine Line team. And she taught me this years ago. I will never forget it. I've used it forever. And I still love doing it because it's just a little different. Sometimes when you just mix things up in life, it just kind of makes it fun again. So this method helps us be creative because we still have the same structure of making cards. It gives us some structure, but then we're making changes from within. It is called, I have to look at this. Yeah, see, it's on there. I don't have to look at my notes. Choose a card, change 3 things, make it your own. And I just think that is just a clever way of looking at anything. So you're not starting from scratch. So this is what we're going to do today. So we asked you just to have a paper and pen today because or pencil or whatever, you're going to be making your own kind of little design, and then you're going to create and post. If you are, you can send us by email. If you are on YouTube and don't do Facebook, if you've joined the Facebook group, put it in there because we love seeing, and otherwise just enjoy doing it for yourself. You know, it's all good. So this is what it's going to break up the routine. Yep. Give you a new way of thinking about things. And it's problem solving because you have to think of the new things that go in there. Just following along with this.
It definitely challenges. It really challenges your mind, I think, when you see a card and you can see exactly what somebody else made, but now you've got the problem. I mean, it's a good problem here of trying to figure out what could you do to make it your own, and that's where that ownership really comes in.
Yes. So I actually was looking at those things. I think this is really fun. I like to choose a card. That's kind of like breaking the routine because we're starting with a card. And then change 3 things. That is the problem solving part. And the ownership is really how it turns into our own. We're all going to use the same card today to work from, but you can do this anytime with anything. And I just love this because it just kind of helps me look at things differently. Even if you are brand new, you can find easy things to change. And, you know, there is nothing wrong with copying or casing or doing anything else. This is just to kind of expand beyond that. Even if you're copying something, I often say, make 2 cards. You can make your first one exactly like what you're doing. And then your mind already starts thinking. You're going to start feeling that, oh, what if I tried this? So make the second one a little different. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of building on that whole thing. Now I have to figure out how to get my, let's see, we're going to remove that. And I'm going to put this up. I did practice this. Okay, we'll work at this. And then I'm going to put this here. Okay, I think it worked. Okay, look at this gorgeous card. We're picking something simple, but very lovely. What do you notice about this card? I'm looking at the different pieces. I see a band here. It's on a layer. I see a circle thing with an accent, some words, a card base. Now we're going to have some fun because we want to make a list. Let's see how long we can make it of what things we could change with this. This is where it starts with, you know, so it's not just this. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll make this card that would be similar. Let us know. And Holly, I cannot see comments. So I guess it's only, I guess I'm leaving comments up to you, but she's going to be writing down what things we could change. And we're going to show you some examples afterwards of how we did this, but then mostly we can't wait to see what you do, kind of with just taking this approach.
So we've got someone who said we can change the accent. We could emboss the card base.
Ooh.
Change the colors. You could add ribbon. Change the banner layout. Let's see. Make the band diagonal. Change the orientation. Let's see. A lot of people saying embossing. Change the shape. The shape of the sentiment piece. There we go. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to write these at the same time.
Yes.
The embellishments, you could change those. Change the sentiment. Let's see here. Let's see. You can change the designer series paper. Change turn it into an easel card. So change the fold. Add some glitter. Change the color. The card size. Add sparkle. Let's see, making a barn door. So a lot of fold changes that could be made. So making a peekaboo card with the birds looking out. Round the corners. So I don't think I got them all because the comments are flying very quickly, but there's so many different options here for what might get changed.
So do you see how easy this is? As all we're asking is to change 3 things. And I just think that is so cool. When you look at this and you start seeing more and more, I hadn't even thought about changing like to a slimline card. What a great idea. Any card into a funful card. I mean, I just think it's really fun. So that whole list can grow, but this is a way of having you think of what, even changing the embellishments. I have 3 little embellishments there. I could put them here. I could put them here. Any change makes things different. So let us know. I'd love to know if you've done this before, if this is a new concept to you. I just think it's so cool that Linda did this. And we want to give you a little bit of time to kind of think through what you're going to do. Or should I go ahead and show one of my cards now? I guess we can do this slowly.
Yeah, let's go with the first one. Can we see the fox card?
Yeah, here is the fox card. So
I think is that a fox? That's kind of what I see.
It is a fox. It is a fox, and it's just cute. Okay, what do you see that's different on this?
So when you guys look at the bird card and the fox card, can you tell what 3 things Karen
and I think I changed more than 3. So again, it's this list.
Well,
so
that's probably true too.
And your mind just starts going.
And you
first glance,
the banner ends. Somebody said you changed the color. You changed the designer series paper, the type of the circle. Yep, the arrow on the ends of the banner. The background layer is different. You created that pinwheel there. The band is different. You have a ruffled circle instead of a flat circle. Your focal point is more fancy. The embellishments are different. Yeah, the rosette instead of the circle. So the texture is different. Everything. Jackie says everything changed.
And, you know, I only had 3 things in mind when I was changing this. But as you build, and I love taking a little like this circle. So the words are down here, and then it's tucked up under. So you can make any kind of a size. But if you first looked at these 2 cards, you might not think they're basically the same card, but they basically are. It's kind of taking a structure and then just doing things different with it. Okay, we ready for another one?
Yeah, somebody said you changed at least 6 things.
Okay. Who's counting? How about this one? And again, I love that these are inspired by the same card, but you wouldn't know it by looking at it. So this is such a good way to just help yourself start thinking creatively. So, and someone had mentioned this, putting the DSP on a diagonal. And I thought, whoa, I thought I was being really creative doing that. See, but I thought, I love that showed up.
Oh, and you changed the size of your sentiment. You moved your embellishments. They're not all together now. They're spread out. You've got layers on your card. Let's see. It's a different orientation. You changed your card. So somebody said it's like scrap lifting when you scrapbook. I've never heard of that, Becky.
Oh, tell us what that is.
Yeah, Becky Moore, tell us what scrap lifting is when you scrapbook. A lot of people like the diagonal. The sentiment is on a mat, so you layered your sentiment. Penny says it seems like a totally different card with the lemons. More layers. A lot of people are seeing your layers on the card.
Yeah, that's right. More layers. These are non-layered cards. Adding layers makes such a difference.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of comments on the layers. That's definitely a big difference.
And all the cards I've done here all have designer series paper, which is just kind of an interesting thing, but they all look totally different. And this doesn't have a circle. It just has the thing. So we did an interesting thing. We had Holly. This is how we're going to be co-teaching. We're going to come up with the plan, and then the other's going to share their version. You know, it's so fun to see different people's ideas. But we didn't stop to think about exactly how you're going to share. I guess you're going to put yours in front of your face.
Yeah, I can do that. Do you want to make my camera bigger, Karen? So if you
Yes.
guys will stay focused on that bird card. So that's when we say choose a card, that's the original card. And so we're comparing everything to the
I am
original.
actually going to leave this, and then I will put Holly in the center here. So you can still see this as a reference point.
But that way you can see
There.
my card a
And
little
you
bit.
can
We'll
still
just cover
see.
my
Yep.
face.
I know.
So here's another version with this snow globe Christmas card. What other changes do you see that were made here? Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to answer the scrap lifting question. It says scrap lifting in scrapbook. It's looking at someone else's layout and copying it. So it's kind of like casing in cards.
Yeah, perfect.
So
we're learning more and more about scrapbooking.
The orientation is different. The banner piece that doesn't go all the way to the end using dimensionals. The angles on the designer series paper and the banner. So there's actually a layer there under the words. The shape of the vertical layer. A much larger focal point. Yeah. The sentiment is matted. Landscape instead of portrait. So the gems, yep. The embellishments are different. And the embellishments are on the focal point. Yeah. Sentiment on the banner. So yeah, you guys are kind of seeing how there's other options, just simple things like cutting the diagonal here on both the DSP and the two cardstock pieces here is different. So putting a dome instead of a circle. Eileen's asking if I used ink. The only thing that's inked on this inked on this card is actually the sentiment. So this is fussy cut out of designer series paper. But it could have just as easily been stamped and colored. So, yep, changing the color combination, somebody said. The color scheme is different. So yeah, there's a number of changes that were made here. And then I made another one. Make sure I have this right side up. How about this one? Can you see what 3 changes we made from the bird card to this one? And I'm gonna, oh, there we go. There's my camera. I'm gonna bring it up close so you can kind of see some of the details here. And then I'll let you guys answer. What 3 changes do you see from the bird card to this one? The torn paper. The sentiment being on the focal image. Yep, Deborah saw that I cut around the sentiment. A rectangle instead of a circle. And yeah, stamping the focal point instead of fussy cutting it. The shape. Oh, Mary Jo says that tearing her DSP is one of her favorite things to do. Change the circle to a rectangle using layers. The image is left plain except for a little bit of highlighting. Let's see here. Centering the focal image instead of offset. Wow, you guys found more changes than I even meant to make. My plan was just to tear the DSP. I did make that change. I did the rectangles instead of circles. And then I fussy cut the sentiment. But you guys actually see changes that I didn't even realize I made. So that's so fun, Karen, how people are seeing all these changes. I love it. So.
Okay, so keeping in mind, now you are going to, let's see if
So if you want to go back to the slides then.
Oh, yes, we'll go back to the slides and see, and I want to remove this. Well, we'll leave that one up for right now.
We'll leave the bird card,
for the rest of this, because we'll see that, yeah.
But you see how this can work, you guys. We can apply this to any card. I mean, we're going to start with Karen's bird card, but you can choose any card and change it and make it your own. So this is a way when maybe you feel stuck in a rut and you're just not sure what to do next. Try this method. We would love to see how it works for you.
So another of our challenges is to use this as a reference, change 3 things, put it in the Facebook group, or email us your picture. That's the other way that works, right?
Yeah. So
look at those are a few weeks. Look at how much longer our list got than that. So I think that is awesome.
I know it's crazy, but you're going to take this bird card, you're going to make your own 3 changes, and then share your changed card in the Kickstart Facebook group.
And I encourage you to list the 3 things that you changed just so that we see it. Because sometimes you look at something, what in the world did they change? And we might see a whole lot more like we're discovering with this. I think this is the exciting part, just seeing what we all do in our own space with the same information.
Yes, for sure. So, and we do want to say, if you are not on Facebook, we know that there are many of you watching who don't have Facebook, and that's totally fine. You don't have to be on Facebook for this challenge. So there's a replay email coming out later today, which will tell you the challenge. All you have to do is reply to that email and send us a picture of your card, and that'll enter you into the challenge as well. So no worries if you're not on Facebook, you can reply to the emails with your challenge entry. So, and then tomorrow we'll be announcing those winners. So stay tuned tomorrow. You might see your name on a slide.
And before we go, the other thing, tomorrow's going to be different because it's going to be on Zoom. And so we're going to have a chance to bring a bunch of you up forward to show what you're working what you're working on. So we keep changing things up. So we want to make sure you come back because we'll do something totally different tomorrow.
I'm going to answer a couple of questions, Karen, before we go to the next slide. So the name of the Facebook group is Creative Cards Kickstart. Also check your email. We've sent you multiple emails where you should have a link to that group that you can join that as well. And no, you don't have to use specific products. So your deadline for submitting is midnight tonight, so midnight Central Time for wherever you are in the world, but you've got all day. So the Facebook group is called Creative Cards Kickstart as well. And then the question about Zoom. You don't need to have Zoom in order to join us tomorrow. All you have to do is click on a link. So there's nothing that you should have to download as long as you're on a computer. You'll be able to join us for Zoom. You don't have to be on camera. You can leave your camera off, but you don't need to have Zoom.
But if you are on camera,
I guess is what I'm saying.
If you are on camera, it is just so fun to see all those faces and feel like we're all here together doing this. So we encourage you to do that because, we're all casual. We're all just sitting together creating.
And if you miss any of these videos, just for those of you who are on live, I see some people who have, things to do tomorrow. All of the replays will be emailed to you as well. So you'll be able to watch the replay later if you can't get on the Zoom tomorrow, or you have something, or you just want to watch again to get more inspiration. You can do that as well. Because one of the things we realize is that sometimes we want to be able to think on our feet. Like we want to feel more confident in our card making, and we want to we want to feel like we know what we're doing, right? Because maybe, I don't know about you, but I tend to overanalyze what I'm going to do next and where I'm going to put something on my card. I second guess myself. I'm such an overthinker. I'm sure none of you can, understand that. Any other overthinkers out there? We even overthink our card, and maybe you spend more time scrolling Pinterest than you do actually making cards. So we really want you to come back tomorrow because we have another way to show you how to get unstuck in your card making and to really use your imagination in what you create. So it'll be at 10 a.m. Central tomorrow. But in the meantime today, check out the Facebook group and watch your email because there's more fun stuff coming your way today.
Ask questions, share your stories. We are so appreciative you're here and love to hear your feedback, your comments, and what you're learning. So have a wonderful day, and we'll be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.